All right, it's live. So hi, this is a broadcast from Silicon Valley Global News. I'm here with Kevin Kunes and Victoria Castillo.
Yes,
correct?
Del Castillo. Yes.
Del Castillo. All right. Do you want to each take a minute to introduce who you are and what brings you what because this call is kind of in part like a pre-show about GDC when we want to talk about what you're enthusiastic about related to GDC. So.
My name is Victoria. I am a VR developer and a mixed reality performance artist. I'm doing more of the VR development side lately. And I'm also a conference associate at GDC, and I have been every year for the last 3 years. GDC is my favorite thing in the world, so I'm really excited about it.
And Kevin, do you want to go next and talk about your enthusiasm for games and GDC?
Sure.
You're playing a game right now, correct?
I was playing Wolfenstein, yes, and it's sad because I used to have the PS4 VR headset for it, and I even have like this wacky like invention they created called the Move controller.
Oh yeah.
You can actually do Netflix too with your PS4.
Nice.
I realized you could pick your Netflix things with this thing. But I basically am just enthusiastic across the board for any VR games. I have an HTC Vive, I have an Oculus. As I mentioned, I used to have the PS4 VR. I try to play every game when it comes out. I often, don't want to have to purchase every single one, so I'll try it on my friends' headsets or I'll try it at conferences. But I'm an avid VR gamer, and yeah, pretty much very excited to see what is going to be new that comes out to GDC this year. This is actually my first GDC, so I've never been, even though I pretty much play like all the top games every year. I've never been, so this is going to be an experience for me.
Oh, it's awesome. You're going to love it. There's so much to do. You're not going to get it all done.
So, Victoria, what did you see? Because you've gone to past GDCs. What have you seen there in the past that's really awesome?
My favorite things are the sessions, honestly. Like, most people go because they want to find out about the new games or like try out the new tech, but for me, it's all about the educational sessions. I'm so excited about it. Like, because you have brilliant people who've made amazing games just telling you how they made it and giving you advice. It's such a rare opportunity to be able to get that I just eat it all up.
Nice. And let's see, what else can we talk about? So yeah, as you can see, I'm a VR enthusiast. So I'm really interested in brain-computer interfaces. So I'm hoping to, there'll be I guess conferences are really great, but I like the fact that GDC uploads conferences. So what I find is a problem with big events is you have so many conferences scheduled simultaneously, and you have to pick one because you can't be in more than one spot at once. So you want to, especially as a journalist, you want to bring like a team with you so that they can go to the great conferences that you can't go to because you're going to another great conference. But also, I like the fact that you can watch the conferences afterwards, but it's a unique opportunity to try things like the HTC Vive Pro and the Oculus Go and the Oculus Santa Cruz and the latest games, and meet some of the people who are making like some of the top games in the world. And so it's an incredibly exciting place to be for anyone in the games or VR business. And I'm hoping personally that we'll see a bunch of I get to try like the Luxor VR headset, and there's the 5K Hero, which is like one of those like headsets that looks like a hammerhead because it's got 2 giant screens. And so that's so for me, there's so much that I want to do, and I wish I had like 3 or 4 of myself so I could just try everything at once, but it's not possible.
We will be your avatars, Micah. We will be your avatars around the world. That's often how I see my role in the 360 thing with my daily YouTube videos, and it's gotten to the point where yesterday I met the co-founder of YouTube, and now he's a subscriber to my YouTube channel, which is kind of like a meta thought that's just been going through my head all day.
Wow.
Yeah.
What's his name? Who is he?
So there are 2 co-founders of YouTube. I don't know if he wants me to like publicly talk too much about him because he actually doesn't upload on YouTube anymore.
Oh.
Which I made a joke. Oh, you're on Twitch now, huh? moved over to Vimeo, you know. But you know, it's just like the synergy of the Bay Area where you can run into these sort of people. So I'm very interested to see some of the game creators there. I'm interested to see some of the new VR headsets. I'm interested to see some games that probably won't be out for the next couple months. It's sort of like you get that exclusive sneak peek into these games that you have to wait forever to play. And it really, really teases you, but it's great to be able to be there and actually do it, because otherwise you're just hearing it secondhand from friends, and it's like, I wanted to try that thing. And in some cases they're never released, you know, or they're released exclusive. Like, for instance, in Japan right now, they have virtual reality Mario Kart, which I'm so jealous about. I want to play Mario Kart in virtual reality. Why is that exclusive to Japan? It's not fair. But it's something where at GDC, maybe they'll have it here, and I can try that once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to play it.
So, okay, so I want to ask both of you a question. Besides, you know, Kevin's playing Wolfenstein, what were your favorite games this past year that you played, and what games are you really looking forward to playing this coming year that you know are coming up, and what do you hope for?
VR or non-VR?
Both. Yeah, both.
The game that I was most excited for this year was Fallout 4 VR, because I'm obsessed with Fallout, and all I ever wanted to do was be in the wasteland and just like kick some fucking ass. So that was like super excited.
Because it's so hard to contain. This has been a great year for gaming, I have to say, with the Nintendo Switch coming out, all these VR games finally unloading. I would say for Nintendo Switch, for portable stuff, I really enjoyed Zelda. I thought that was amazing. I imagine they're going to try and port it to VR eventually. You know, possibly, at least I imagine a lot of people are hoping for that, because it is such a massive game. I also really, in terms of VR games, I enjoyed Beat Saber, which is not out yet, but that for me was like, oh my God, this is like DDR meets like, you know, sword lightsaber things. And you could tell just by the media response with that, like Swan's video, our friend, she got, you know, millions of views on her video, which is crazy. So it's a very like beautifully designed game just based off of that alone. Beyond that, they're slowly releasing the songs and the different tracks, so that's really cool. It would be cool if you can port in your own iTunes track into there and be able to play to that, and it generates things based on knowing like bass and frequency and things like that. I don't know if that's possible, but it's something that if I run into the developer there, I'm going to totally pick his ear on it. So that's another really cool thing about GDC, is you actually get a way to kind of like inspire the game, or, you know, in some ways you can help to like shift it or evolve it by giving them suggestions or feedback. That could be very helpful.
Yeah, and if you get Kevin, if you get to meet one of these developers and you could record them on 360, there are so many people who would want to see that dialogue. I mean, that just like I got John Carmack on video, and like that had so many views because people really want to hear from John Carmack. So like that's definitely something I look for when I go, is to talk to people that people really want to talk to or hear from, and find out what their thought process is behind whatever they're creating. So
let us know in the comments below, folks, if you know people who are going to be there who you want us to talk with. We'll go up there and have a little chit chat. Tell us what you want to ask them, and we are your virtual avatars going out into the GDC world to help inform and get news for you.
And Victoria, I don't know if you wanted to say anything on that note.
On the note regarding people that I want to meet at GDC, let's see. I really want to meet the developers from the Rick and Morty game, the Alchemy Studios developers. I was a big fan of the Rick and Morty, and it was one of my favorite games that came out this year as well. And it was amazing. I was obsessed with that game. And then Rick and Morty ended up being kind of like Job Simulator in a way, but Rick and Morty style, which I ate it up. I thought it was amazing.
Yeah, I've been to the Austin Virtual Reality Meetup twice, and that's where you can meet folks from the Alchemistry Labs. They go to that meetup. So just FYI, if you're in Austin, go to the Austin Virtual Reality Meetup, and you'll meet a bunch of VR developers in the Austin area, which there's a lot of. So
Oh,
Yeah, random.
I would be remiss to also not mention as one of my top VR games that I forgot about for a second. Mind Show. I remember seeing Mind Show at a conference early last year, VRLA, and getting on the beta for it. And it's just like continued to evolve and change, and they're adding characters in there. And it's something that for my Academy of Arts virtual reality film students, I always make them do a Mind Show exercise as part of the course. So they know what it's like to control 3 different characters and do blocking. And it's a really fun application. So highly recommend folks check that out if you have an HTC Vive. 2 thumbs up.
Victoria, do you have any particular sessions that you looked up on the GDC website that you're interested in that you could say, hey, this is a good one to go to, sort of thing?
Yes. So I'm really, 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 really excited for this one. It's a VRDC session. It's called Hardware versus Software, UX Loops, 1960s to now. And it's lessons learned from the 60s until today. Because I know VR is like new in the public eye, but people have been developing for VR since the 60s. So it's not new. It's actually quite old. So there's a lot of information out there already. And I love that. I love knowing about the history of things. I love knowing the future of things as well. But I'm a bit of a video game and like VR historian. So you give me something like from the past until present, I eat that shit up. And let me actually give more information. It's going to be room 25 in the North Hall on Monday at 3:50. So if you have time and you have a VRDC pass and you're like me, a total like technology history nerd, definitely check it out.
Sweet, thank you very much. Kevin, did you have it? Let's see. I don't know what you.
I'm gonna be hunting down the Far Cry booth. I don't know where it is, but that's my first thing I'm looking for is Far Cry. Be able to get a little early gameplay in before it arrives 2 weeks from now, because I'm super stoked about that game, and I think a lot of people are. I think it'll probably get Game of the Year.
Kevin, is that your cat in the background? Could you?
That is my cat. He just keeps just running through here. This is Marlo. Give him some screen time. He's always just showboating in the background.
Sweet. Okay, so I guess I wanted to ask what. So we saw Ready Player One, which I think could be important for the VR industry. We haven't seen the movie yet, but we saw the preview at South by Southwest, or some people did. We've seen news of it, and we saw the preview of Westworld, and I'm wondering what movies or shows do you think are important to the VR and games industry, and what may help grow the VR industry in particular, or what do you think? What do you think maybe needs to change so that we take games and VR to the next level?
Well, I think that Spielberg doing something in VR space is definitely like big. I also think it's kind of ironic though, because he's not doing a VR piece, so it's sort of like he wants to stay, cool and new, but he's not doing it in the right medium. We'll see how it comes out. I kind of wish it was a TV show, because the book is so massive that for them to try and condense it into like a feature-length film, you're just going to end up skewering fans' dreams with it. So I don't know. I'm interested to see it, but I will go to the midnight premiere of it. It's going to be good, maybe, hopefully. But I remember at Cannes Film Festival a couple years back, Spielberg poo-pooing VR and saying these things. So it's kind of like funny how he's now like come around to the fire. And I think it's still probably a good positive thing for the VR industry in general, especially gaming. But it's not a big thing for 360 film. For that, I think it's things like the director did Birdman and The Revenant with the piece at the LA Museum. So I'm highly encouraging everyone to go check that out if you really want to see a true piece of 360 VR filmmaking. It brings you through the experience of being an immigrant and crossing the border from Mexico to the U.S. I think it should be something that every LA high school student has to go through.
Nice. And Victoria, did you have any thoughts on Ready Player One or movies and media and what their impact might be for the?
Yeah, I definitely am excited for Ready Player One. Like I haven't read the book yet, but all of my friends have read it, and they all tell me that it would be my favorite thing in the world ever. So I'm excited about that. But I actually wanted to touch on Kevin's point about how Steven Spielberg was like poo-pooing it, and now he's making a movie about VR. I think, and I could be totally wrong, but he's a master at moving pictures, right? Like he knows that shit like the back of his hand. That's what he's known for. I could see him being extremely hesitant getting into what is essentially a completely new form of media, right? And I totally agree where Ready Player One totally should have been a VR movie, right? I really believe that that would have been the best way to do it, but no one's ever made a VR movie. And I don't think that someone who has like such a big name is going to try to do something like that
risky,
so large at first. Yeah. So like, I totally see what you mean, and I agree with you, but I also see how he'd be like,
Yeah.
So Kevin, you went to Sundance Film Festival, and what did you learn about the VR filmmaking from Sundance?
It has the best 360 VR stuff you're going to see in the world. I highly recommend anyone who wants to get in the field go to the festival, check out the things there, check out Slam Dance, which also happens. Everything that's showing at South by right now is just a rehash of what was at Sundance, but they're missing some of the key things too. Like my favorite piece, Heroes, is not showing at South by Southwest. I highly recommend it. I can't speak more on it than, to what the YouTube videos I've made where I really go in and analyze each of the different pieces. You get haptics. You can tell where the whole medium is going to evolve to. And it really shows you the potential with gaming and storytelling. It opened my eyes as someone who has studied this for pretty much 3 years. Going there for the first time this year, I was like, holy crap, there's all this new stuff. Really, really inspiring.
There's Tribeca that people can check out. But I don't know.
Another good one, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if it's so. What from seeing Sundance and South by Southwest? What is the impact that you can see? Because I went to Sundance in 2017. But what is the impact you're seeing in terms of how the 360 filmmaking or the VR style of filmmaking is impacting the movie industry, the indie movie industry in particular?
Well, everyone wants to go to it. They know it's very rare and exclusive. And I noticed a lot of people in line in Sundance to see the VR things, and it was their first time checking out VR, which I think says a lot that the first time they're going to check out VR, they're willing to throw down like $80 or something. That's pretty substantial. When I was in LA to check out The Void, which is a Star Wars thing that Disney's doing, the people who me and my friend at Kodak were there with, it was their this couple's second time going there. And they're not like huge VR people. They don't work in the industry. They're just Joe Popcorn. So I think it's really starting to take a ubiquitous hold in society where people want these visceral experiences, sort of like an IMAX sort of thing that they can go to, that feels more memorable than the standard movie experience. You go to a movie and you might even fall asleep during it. If you're in a VR experience, you're totally engaged and you're going to be there for that 30-minute experience or 15-minute experience.
And Victoria, did you have any responses to that question as well?
I have never been to South by Southwest or Sundance, so I can't really say. But I've always wanted to go. Maybe someday I could answer that effectively.
You should check out the SF International Film Festival, which is coming up, which will have a lot of VR stuff. They have a new head who is doing VR this year, so I don't know exactly what's playing yet, but I'm excited to check it out, and hopefully we'll be getting a press pass. I'm going to be emailing them soon about that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks for the tip.
I wanted to ask also. So Kevin, you tried the Void Star Wars arcade in LA. Victoria, have you tried any of the VR arcades yet? I know you worked at one, right?
I wouldn't really consider it an arcade in like the traditional sense. But yeah, I work at Exit Reality, and we have cubes. Right now we have one station at Hotel Zeta in San Francisco, and yeah, it's a lot of fun. A lot of people are coming up to it. A lot of people are like really receptive to it. Even like the older generation. We have one experience called the Blue that, is just like you're underwater and you have 3 different experiences. One of them has this huge whale that just kind of like comes and like kind of circles you. And it's this really chill thing. And, older people love that. We don't have too many games on display. Like we have about like 15. So it's not like we have the whole Steam library. But we also have Tilt Brush, and that's also highly enjoyable. People love that too. So definitely I see it becoming more something that's more accessible to people.
And we saw the news of there's a VR arcade in the mall and I don't know. There's a VR park. This VR park opened. It was in the news. It's big. It happened in Dubai or something, like really far away. So I don't think I'm going to go there. But I'm hoping that we see more VR parks. And just like imagine that you and 100 or hundreds of other people are all wearing headsets and you're running around in a giant open sort of landscape. And you can see other people, but you don't necessarily have to be in the same VR experience. And that's kind of an interesting idea. But or you could
definitely be. It's definitely branching out. All the big players in terms of Disneyland and Six Flags are all thinking in that direction because they don't have to construct another new roller coaster. They can virtually construct one, which is way less money they're going to end up spending, and people are going to be blown away by it because it's going to be the first time they've seen that really. The question is how realistic can they make it? Can they team it with major movie release and time it up good? Because with the Star Wars thing, I gotta say, I love the Void. It was cool. You're like a stormtrooper, but it was for Rogue One, which was the movie that came out last year. So it's kind of like you gotta, set those deadlines in advance. And it was kind of weird seeing Diego Luna there and being like, your character's dead already in the Star Wars universe.
Spoiler alert. Spoiler
alert for anyone who hasn't seen Rogue One yet. Sorry. It's my favorite Star Wars out of the new ones, though. So good pick on that for them to do it. But ultimately, it didn't feel like a very long experience. You spent a lot of time before that experience kind of like waiting in line to do it. And at one point, the guy was like, oh, I'm going to do some Star Wars trivia with you. Ended up kind of like isolating me in a way because I know trivia, but I couldn't get these things. I wish instead I saw right next to there was a little cantina or a little bar area. And I was like, ooh, imagine if they transformed this into the Star Wars cantina bar thing. And it's you could wait until your number's called and you just go in there when your number's called. And that would completely eliminate the whole 20 minutes waiting in line process, which everyone hates to begin with.
Yeah.
And they
Victoria,
make money on drink tickets and things like that. So.
Victoria, are you a Star Wars fan at all?
Yes, I am a Star Wars fan. I would love to try Void, but not there yet. But yeah, not sure what else you want me to say on that because I'm not obsessed with it.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. That's fine.
The HTC Star Wars one where you're protecting R2-D2. That was pretty fun, I gotta say.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the first part of what you said.
Did you play the Star Wars HTC Vive one where you're protecting R2-D2 and you have to deflect with a lightsaber?
The red shit comes at you. Yes, yeah. I have. I've tried that.
Yeah.
That was fun. Yeah, it's really difficult though. That one is a challenging game.
It made me feel accomplished when I was deflecting. I saved the robot. I was like, oh, R2.
I think I tried 20 times and just immediately game over. And I think maybe after try 25, I ended up getting 2 of them, and then it was game over. Oh, okay. At least I lasted 3 seconds this time instead of just dying immediately.
The robots are getting better and better at gaming. It's incredible. Yes, I played ping pong against a robot, and he was pretty good. He's pretty good. I'm not gonna
Oh,
say
wow.
he was better than me, but he was pretty good.
So Kevin, so I know Victoria is a fan of Fallout 4. Have you tried it, the Fallout 4 VR or the Fallout 4? What do you think?
I've played Fallout 4. I haven't tried Fallout 4 VR or the other one that I really, really want to try that I haven't got an opportunity yet is LA Noire VR. And I just think those are both, huge open world games. The potential there is massive. Unfortunately, like the laptop I have is considered VR ready, but I guess not VR ready for like those high scale games. I haven't tried Fallout yet. I was thinking about buying it and trying it, but for LA Noire, for some reason, it could not handle it. And I hear very few computers can handle that scale. So it's kind of like I wish that there was a way that they can kind of make it more broad and applicable to everyone who's a real gamer, because that's a lot of money I think they're losing out of their wallet.
Are either of you excited about the port of Skyrim VR to the Vive or the PC?
But yeah, potentially the graphics seem like they might be a little bit much, but I recently got it for Nintendo Switch, and it's kind of like reliving my childhood in a way in Skyrim. I wonder, like, how it would really play in VR. I think Victoria has a lot more to say on this, knowing Fallout.
Yeah, and I played the original Skyrim a lot. I didn't finish it though, but holy crap, it was good. I just, oh my god, just imagine seeing like those dragons in your freaking face and throwing fireballs in them, like for real, right? Like that's just glorious to me. Like I want to throw fireballs and kill dragons, and I hope that you could actually say like Fusro da and have it interact, right? Like I really want that to be a thing.
Very cool, very cool. I think we're ready to get a high note here. So thank you both for coming on this podcast today. Any final thoughts? Anything you want to say? Anything you want to promote?
YouTube. Find me on YouTube. Got lots of cool stuff on there. Just my name, Kevin Kunes, Kunze.
I have a space shooter VR application that I've been shopping around and showing at events. And if you see me at either SFVR or another event and you see me with the Vive, ask me to play my space shooter.
Awesome. All right. See you later. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.